Man, so I was at Bible college, and that's when I figured out all this. Like, for sure was like, okay, I have to like experience and see if this is what I am. And this is because the thoughts were just getting louder and louder. And it happened while I was at Bible college, and they don't really like that there. So I'd already been hurt by a church in the past because I worked at one. And my mom was like, we're going to get you out of here. Let's not do this. So after that, I was pretty distraught for a while. That's when all the confusion was coming up.
Yeah.
But then as I just kept growing and growing into myself and into my own beliefs, I realized there's not one way of life. And it was kind of healing just to be myself and write songs for people like me. You know what I'm saying? It was like healing for myself, but other people heal from it as well. And so that was kind of the big thing. Like I wrote my song, But Jesus Loves Me. And that's like my little baby. That's like, that's the one. I'm like, shoot. It's controversial. It's very controversial. If you want to get heated, go look at the YouTube comments. Like, they're not nice.
My next guest has many talents, not the least of which is she's a fantastic musician. She plays a number of instruments and is on a trajectory toward massive success in the music industry. But obviously, if she's on the TCast, she also has a story to tell, and she indeed tells it here. So she has been to a very dark place. She tells us about the dark place and how she managed that dark place and where she is now, and how all those different emotional points within her life and how she dealt with it translate to her music. It's a fascinating story. I'm sure you're going to love it. So join me in welcoming my next guest to the TCast, Miss aVERI Burk.
But a lot of what you put out there has to work around your lifestyle. And I think that's what could be considered controversial to some. And certainly when people politicize all this crap.
Here.
Yeah. And it becomes, when people politicize it, it gets completely out of whack, which, so part of that, I'd just like to understand how that came to be, and then talk about a little bit about how that ends up being infused into your music and stuff. So assuming you grew up here, maybe?
I did, yes. So my mom is from Fort Worth, my dad is from Dallas, and then we grew up in the middle, like HEB area, mid-cities. So yeah, I've always been over here. I was a worship leader too growing up, so that even kind of makes things a little bit more interesting. So I grew up in that environment, like really religious.
Okay.
Yeah, I was very religious too. I took it very seriously. I don't know. I just had a very big heart for it, and I loved it. And then I grow up and figure out that I'm not straight, and so the thing
that a big conflict.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's like the thing you think is the most right in the world has something like so against what you are. If that makes sense. I don't know if I said that right, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
And it's a very confusing thing to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of did take me away from that aspect of my life. And then I think I realized being away from it that I think music was at the heart of all of it, you know, because worship leading and all of that was really how I got better at music and how I could connect with an audience and see a crowd of people and be like, okay, kind of read it. You know what I'm saying? So like,
You're not shunning it.
No. I still believe in God. I still believe that there is a source out there that is good, that is light. But I also think that religion can bring a lot of trauma to people. And I think people take it serious to a point that is detrimental, if that makes sense, to other people that are different.
You think it's a lot about the people that are taking the judgmental role instead of letting it be and everybody dealing with it?
Playing God.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not my job. I don't want the responsibility.
Right. But that's what brings a lot of the guilt and everything else. Because, you know, when they say, hey, if everything's equal, then everybody has their own set of problems. So it shouldn't, feel any worse than anybody else feels. So.
And that's what I've dealt with a lot. Like, it was just intense, like guilt and intense shame over a lot of things. And especially like my sexuality and just even anything like I would think, because I deal with kind of OCD, depression, anxiety, stuff like that. And so there's the Bible verse, so a man thinks he is. So I'm like, okay, so I'm crazy? Like, what do you mean? Like,
a man thinketh, no.
No, yeah. So
Stop
like, I would feel guilty even just about my thoughts. And like, even just like the thought of wanting to be with girls, I would like, no, that's gross. That's bad. That's not. Right. And then I realized like, no, that's not right either. That's just be who you are and love who you love. And the people that are supposed to be in your life will accept you. And the people that aren't, just, it's a determining factor.
And there are still
sometimes.
people who feel like that is a conscious decision on people's part too. So has there been any point in which you finally understood that that wasn't the case? Was there or anyone that you've had to try to convince about that scenario where they felt like, why are you making this decision? Saying, been trying to counsel you out of it or anything like that?
I mean, yeah, I definitely I talked to a parent's friend that had walked out of the lifestyle, you know what I mean? And I tried to feel better about it until I couldn't feel better until I was living in my truth. You know what I mean? Because I would try to date guys and it'd be uncomfortable. It would just feel like if you try to, you know what I'm saying? Like if you try to be with a dude, it's like, I don't really like this. Like I feel stressed out. I'm like, I shouldn't feel stressed to go hang out with a dude that I'm dating. You know what I'm saying? Or
For sure.
And so I think as I walked in my truth, I started to feel more peace about it. Because I'm like, okay, this is me. This is right for me. It doesn't have to be right for anybody else, but it's right for me.
Of course.
Yeah. And I stopped trying to make people believe what I believe because it really does. It doesn't matter.
Well, and you learned that the hard way that's impossible anyway, right?
It is. Yeah. I'm like, if you don't want your mind to change, I'm not gonna be the one to change it. That's all God, and I'm not God. So.
And living your own truth is a much brighter example for other people anyway.
Exactly.
Because people want to find out more about. Look, you're here because of that. There's enough intrigue and interest from my end too.
Yeah.
So. Was that attached to a lot of the depression stuff, or is that something that you feel like is genetic? I
think it kind of has to do with genetics, and because I think my grandma, she dealt with addiction and stuff like that, and so I told you I don't drink, so I kind of have some similar things that have come up in me. And I'm not a full-blown alcoholic or anything, but I can't handle it, and so I think it kind of has to just do with what I was dealt, because my mom deals with anxiety, kind of that side of my family deals with that. And then my dad's side is super religious. So it's it's kind of a weird blend of things that I've was born into, you know what I mean?
Has your family been more accepting over the time?
So me and my girlfriend have lived with my parents for a little bit while we get on our feet, and they just are so accepting and loving of us. Yeah.
And they got to see an example of how it kind of works, and it's not as bad as you thought probably too, right?
No, not at all.
So how did you actually heal? You said music was a big part of it. So how did you didn't go back into a church and lead worship again, I assume?
No.
So how did you said you came to recognize that music really was part of the inspirational piece in that part of your life. How did you pick that back up?
Man, so I was at Bible college, and that's when I figured out all this. For sure was okay, I have to experience and see if this is what I am. And this is because the thoughts were just getting louder and louder. And it happened while I was at Bible college, and they don't really like that there. So I'd already been hurt by a church in the past because I worked at one. And my mom was like, we're going to get you out of here. Let's not do this. So after that, I was pretty distraught for a while. That's when all the confusion was coming up.
Yeah.
But then as I just kept growing into myself and into my own beliefs, I realized there's not one way of life. And it was kind of healing just to be myself and write songs for people like me. You know what I'm saying? It was healing for myself, but other people heal from it as well. And so that was kind of the big thing. I wrote my song, But Jesus Loves Me. And that's my little baby. That's that's the one. I'm shoot. It's controversial. It's very controversial. If you want to get heated, go look at the YouTube comments. They're not nice.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're not nice. Putting religion in the middle of the conversation.
Yes.
So it's going to bring those types of folks.
Yes.
But that's why we're here too.
That's the goal, though.
Well, it's almost not the goal. It's almost to just figure out it's easier to dismiss extremist comments.
Yeah.
And it's so much more something you can appreciate when people realize, I still completely disagree, but I totally understand where you're coming from now.
Yeah.
That's a starting point.
Yes.
For somebody to come there. We don't need them to agree. Like you said, look, you're not trying to convince someone of anything. You're being yourself. But if they were curious and you had enough to explain your happiness and everything else, and perhaps the different circumstances you've been through.
Yeah.
And how music has healed that, I find that fascinating too, because now music can not just have to be something that you're trying to put out there so that people hear your stuff, which obviously everybody wants to, but it's meaningful and purposeful now.
Yeah.
So have you had anybody respond with that kind of thing? Certainly that song, if you even want to talk about it.
I definitely have. That's actually how I met Kelsey. She saw that video and she messaged me because she was in church and everything. And I've had multiple people just be like, I've needed to hear this. Like, I grew up religious, or my family's religious. They don't accept me. They don't whatever. You know what I'm saying? The story goes on. But yeah, I've definitely gotten really good feedback from it, and bad feedback, negatively on the other side. But I think as long as the bad feedback keeps coming, I need to keep singing it, because that's the point, is that I want people to know that everybody's loved, no matter who they love. Is
that the purpose of the song? If so, when you put it out, did you anticipate there's going to be backlash and support both?
Oh, yeah.
But the purpose was...
There's even backlash from the gay Christians. I'm like, because of one word I put in the song, I'm like, dude, y'all just want to be mad. Like, everybody just wants to be mad.
Yes. Well, it's much easier to be mad, especially when you're half anonymous online.
Yeah, literally.
So you can't worry about that.
Literally.
Sure.
But to go back to your question on healing, like, I don't think it was just music in general. I definitely, got therapy, and I definitely got medicine when I need medicine. I don't think you have to stay on it forever, but it can be helpful if you use it right. And then to keep going, I've started being active, working out, stretching, reading, all of that stuff kind of together with the music and healthy self-expression. Yeah, it balances me out. You know what I'm saying? So I need all of it.
Yeah. And so now you write, and is most of your material kind of cross-purpose, or what is the basic vibe? Or do you have stuff that goes all over the place?
I kind of am going a little more all over the place, because I was writing very close to me for a long time. And then I think that kind of bogged me down, because I'm like, you want to stay true and you want to stay real in what you're writing, but it's hard if you're not inspired or you're not going through anything.
Right.
You know what I'm
saying?
You're
not struggling now. So
yeah, you're not struggling now. So my newest song, Gravity, is just a fun dance song, about me and my girlfriend going to a club, having fun. And I think I've definitely broadened my horizons on writing for sure. But when I first started, it was mostly just things I thought and dealt with.
When did you start writing?
Well, when I was a kid, I would write little poems and stuff, and little songs, even 4th grade, 5th grade. They were terrible. They were absolutely god awful.
I won't make you play those, but I understand. No. But you had a knack, though. It wasn't something you had to practice.
Something called me. It was calling me, and I would write it down. I started playing guitar when I was 7. So after that, I don't know. I wanted to express myself in some way, and I didn't really I put a video on Facebook when I was 12 of original song, and then I put one on SoundCloud when I was in high school. So that was kind of the first time of getting them out,
So that's usually a big step too, right?
Oh yeah, it's the scariest
First one you put out there and say, I think it's okay, but
we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great. And obviously that trended into a lot of the other stuff that you put out.
Yeah. So
now you play as you're a solo artist. Would you consider yourself a solo artist? Because you play with a band when you're live, other than appreciably you play a lot of acoustic gigs in between your band shows.
I would say so. Yeah. I prefer playing with a band though. So I don't know. I guess, I'm an artist because I create the music with my producer, Brandon. So we come up with the music, and then I was playing with a bunch of different musicians for a while, but now I've been playing with my friend's band, Lighthouse. So they've been backing me up, and it's kind of nice to have just a group of people
that are good at playing with each other too.
Yes. So we're all just locked in. And yeah.
That's a very cool idea. So how'd you come across those guys?
So I'd actually known Alex for a while, because one of my original drummers, Troy, and my bass player, Anthony, they moved to LA. And so he had introduced me to Alex for a while, and he would come around when we would rehearse and stuff. And then they were like, hey, he was like, if you want, we're available for you and we can all play together. And I was like, dude, heck yeah, for sure.
Let's plug and play.
Yeah, let's do it. And so we've done a couple things so far.
And that's new though, right? That outfit is new.
Yes.
Okay, so...
Because I did more of the cover gig model, where I would just reach out to all the musicians I know and see who's available, and kind of just put random bands together, which I still like doing that because I love playing with everybody. But it is nice to get the set down and
It's curious to me too, because I've often thought about how different it would feel. And I've been on both sides, and I enjoy playing with different people or whatever too. But it's always different when you feel like, all right, you're coming in, I'm going to feed you my music, and then everybody is just used to doing their thing at your behest, and you just wonder how really inspiring is it to them? Do you ever wonder when you're having to source it out to different people if they come in? And I mean, I have great friends that are musicians at the highest level of the universe that do that stuff, and they love doing it. But I just, and I've played in original bands with them too, so I know they can be passionate.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like every side gig guy is that way.
Yeah, it depends on the person. Most of the guys I play with, though, we're pretty good friends. So, like, we just have a good time. And my guitarist, so I have my original 3, 2 moved to LA, 1 moved to Austin. Okay. And so my guitarist who moved to Austin, he was like, yeah, like 10 musicians I've told that I've played with you and they want to get on the gig too. And I was like, what? I was like, people are hearing about it and want to play with me? That's crazy.
That's really cool.
I was like, and that, because for me, that's like the highest honor, because the musicianship is like, they all make me look like shit and I love it. Like, that's what they're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like, they're crazy. They bring me up. And so I'm like, the level of talent that y'all have and y'all want to play with me, that's like the biggest honor for me.
And it is. I've made mention that I was going to ask about your band, because I know 1 or 2 of them North Texas guys too.
Yes.
Okay. So I was a North Texas guy too, and it's an accomplishment, to go through that rigorous stuff. Even though 70% of them go take a gig and leave school, still. It's still saying something. So how do you come upon linking up with these people in the first place? Because obviously you didn't go to that school, but which doesn't mean anything.
I wish I did now. I'm like, man, dude, I would be crazy, but
yeah.
Hey,
well, everybody has their own path, and it's you are you for that reason. Yeah. And I do see people that go there and get stuck in the cycle of trying to light their chops to such an extent that they kind of lose the vibe of playing music and more try to get into playing their instrument to the nth degree and less about the music. And so it's kind of a cyclical thing. Once you get that good, the really good ones come back and can play something simple and make it sound amazing, right?
Yes. I met all of these guys because I started doing cover gigs around like 2018, 2019. Okay. And I met this guy, Domingo, at Cantina Laredo in Louisville. Like, out of all places, my first little gig that I had my acoustic guitar, my little binder with like literally pages that I just printed from Ultimate Guitar. Like, it was crazy. My first ever. But he saw something in me, and he had like a concept cover band where, like I said, he gets all the musicians together, just pulls random people, and we play. So he invited me to come play at Mayfest, and that's where I met Anthony, who's my bass player, and then Dallas, who's my guitarist. And that was like, I think 2019-ish.
Okay. And you were playing cover stuff at Mayfest? Yeah, we were playing cover stuff, and I had dark black hair, like this long, like I completely different person, you know what I'm saying? And so could have played Motley Crue or something.
Yeah, like, I think I had an eyebrow piercing at one point too. Took that out though, but thank God.
So were you playing guitar, singing? What were you doing there?
I was singing and playing. I might have been playing acoustic or just singing. I forget, because it was a full band. So I met them and we just all hit it off. Like, became cool, like good friends. And I was like, y'all want to play together? Like, I have a thing I'm trying to do, and they were down, and so they opened my eyes to a whole new world of musicianship that I had never seen. Yeah. And then in turn, so Domingo, I call him like my music dad, because he picked me up and he took me everywhere. He's the reason I can like cover gig full time, because that's what I do for work as of now.
Awesome.
But yeah, he took me to all the different places and just threw me in there. And I met a whole bunch of musicians, and we've all just become kind of cool with each other.
That's very cool. And that's also a rarity. And I congratulate you, because so many musicians, I made a living on music for so long, teaching lessons and playing gigs and doing short stints. Of course, the short stints on the road are where you lose money, because you're having to cancel students. So you're going to be gone for 4 days. You got to cancel all your students and then go, take an 87 Suburban out to Arkansas and, make enough money to pay for your merch,
Oh.
But it's admirable, because that does say something, that you have to be really determined to do that. And most other musicians that say they're full-time musicians really just sell weed and play music. Yeah. But selling weed is where they make their money. So that's fascinating.
Yeah, I'm really, very, really thankful for Domingo, because he definitely changed the trajectory of my life, and it's been very, very, very helpful and such a blessing.
And is he the one that went out to LA?
No, he's still here. So we still do like duo gigs and full band gigs together with his cover band. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So, and I noticed your last gig too. So your live stuff is all live music, or do you have any tracks or anything?
We have tracks for like synth and stuff, because I don't have a keys player and I can't afford one.
Yeah. So. No, I get it. But I mean, generally speaking, it's a live performance scenario. Yes. And your last joint, Gravity, is a little bit more sample based.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on sampling? Has been, integral since the 80s even. So it's been coming and building up. But
we didn't use any loops, but I did use just like sounds because I did all the pre-production on it. And we didn't actually use like samples really. We just kind of, I mean, I guess if you count like a crash or like placing them, I don't know. I think a sample is like a loop, but I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I guess there is a difference, and maybe you can explain the difference for people who wouldn't know the difference between a loop and sampling something, or playing a vamp and then pasting those 4 bars forward. Maybe explain the difference so that people understand what the difference is.
So with loops, I kind of use splice sometimes if I'm trying to get an idea. So it's more of like, it's got the whole beat, it's got the whole bass like line in it, it's got whatever, but I guess you can sample a certain sound and then play it yourself, which is what I did. So I don't know if that tells the difference very well. But
oh yeah, and so yeah, you were inspired by loops, and people that create loops are also creative people. They're going to the studio and putting all this stuff in, and it's great stuff.
Splice is a really good tool for sure to get ideas flowing, and
So and I think anyone that would talk down to that is missing the point, because other people have, in ancient times, like where I'm from, you're listening to other music to get inspiration anyway. So everybody's being building on one another.
Nothing's truly original. Even if you think you made it up, you didn't. You have a subconscious that's in there. You know what I'm saying?
Double check yourself sometimes. Like,
we're all like tapped into this certain thing that's like inspiration, this creativity, and when you tap into it, it's not yours. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, I did that. Like, no, something else in me that I tapped into, like, helped me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but that's a special gift. So you do need to have some self-appreciation, because it is something that most people cannot do.
Yeah.
I mean, even the things that you feel like are simple are usually things that people are like, man, I wish I could do that. And you're like, well, it's not that hard.
It's like the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it is. I know. Yeah.
Like, it's the only thing that flows easily to me.
So with the AI stuff, I've been freaking out over hearing how that. Do you have any concerns, or are you of the Paul McCartney ilk where you're probably going to just embrace it and come up with something crazy to do with it?
I mean, I can't really, I'm not going to be the one to change it. So I don't want to resist too much, just because it's going to happen. So you might as well flow with it, even if you like it or not. That's kind of that's where I'm at. Because me and my producer, Brandon, talk about it, and he's like, it's really cool, it's going to be awesome. And I'm like, I don't know.
I know.
And we talk about it because we have different opinions and stuff. And I'm like, my opinion really doesn't matter, because I'm just going to have to go with it anyways if I want to keep doing music,
So do you have any ideas on how you or other artists might differentiate themselves from?
I don't. The only thing I can really think of is just to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm like, other than that, I can't beat a robot, but also there's something to humanness that robots can't touch either, if that makes sense.
Well, for sure. And that's kind of the point, is figuring out how, because with musicians, especially someone, when you're still young and coming up, and you have all this, you have a cool vibe, and you have the videos that go with it, and it's all part of a package.
Yeah.
And when they can emulate it to such an extent, it seems to remove some of people's identity. If they say, look, I want to do something that's like Avery, then all of a sudden it dilutes you as a person, right? Because they're creating something that is much, and you're so unique, and yet now they're going to create something that makes you less unique when they duplicate the things you're doing. Does that concern you, or?
I mean, it's scary for sure. It's definitely scary. I think where it'll really show is just the live performance, because you can't really you can track that and stuff, but there's something to an actual performer that you can't fake. You know what I'm saying? And
for sure,
they have the AI or the meta performances or AI performances and stuff in their cartoons or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen that. It's kind of crazy to me, but there's something about a live show and the feeling of a live show and just being with all those people together, all of you, that you can't recreate, and you can't have a robot make that either. You can't have robots just you know what I'm saying?
Well,
maybe one day.
I don't think they're gonna move like that.
Maybe
That's what
one
I worry
day.
About.
Maybe
that
one
looks
day.
like me dancing. I mean, they dilute me maybe, but I don't know about you. So you said you grew up in the mid cities between Dallas and Fort Worth, for our national folks that are watching. What was one of the more impactful things? You have such a unique upbringing, and you started music so early.
Yeah.
What was one of the more impactful things that you experienced when you were growing up? Either an experience or a story or something that happened that just kind of changed the trajectory of your life?
Man, honestly, even going back to the religious stuff, I think seeing through that at such a young age really helped me and really changed everything for me, because I probably would have been a worship leader for the rest of my life, or like, you know.
And struggling behind the scenes.
Yeah, and like been gay, like, and not been actively gay. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it would have just been weird. So I think like getting hurt by the church really changed everything for me, because that was so ingrained in me and such a big part of my identity that I gave to myself, which is kind of really weird to think about now because I'm so far removed and out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think definitely seeing the humanness in religion in church at such a young age kind of
that's great.
Switched everything up.
Yeah, that's insightful too. It's hard to do because you didn't create that background for, I mean, that's, you know, that's, your parents kind of create that for you so they can set you into whatever. But yeah, if you can figure out your path earlier than later.
Oh yeah, it's
help you
crazy.
To identify yourself.
Well, I'm 25 now, so it's crazy to like see people who are stuck in it and who, it's like I see myself at an earlier age, but they're like older than me. You know what I'm saying? And they're stuck in that mindset. I'm like, I would take any type of pain and anything that happened, I would do it again so I wouldn't have to still be there. Because that's just not a place to live. And it's not, the real religious judgmental part of it is not love, and it's not God, and it's not anything I want to be a part of, because that's all I want to do in my life is just show people that they're loved and they're accepted and it's cool to be who you are. It doesn't matter, you know? So I don't know. I wouldn't take it back. And it's cool because like my family too, we're all on the same journey together, like of spirituality. And we're kind of all in the same boat right now. Like we believe that there's a God, we believe that there's a creator, and we're more tapped into that frequency of just loving people, loving ourselves, stilling ourselves, taking care of ourselves so we can love people better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not religious. It's not anything like that. It's just pure like, we're chilling. You know what I mean?
And religion has a stigma, and it shouldn't, but it does because of people like that.
Yeah.
That are so judgmental.
Because not all religious people are, you know, not all of them are. There's nothing you could say that's just definite about it, but there's a lot of loud ones. So.
Yeah, I understand. Yes. Yeah, religion and college sports and politics. Those are things you don't usually engage unless you really love the person you're talking to.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, can we just talk about fun stuff? No,
so musically, what do you see yourself doing in the next 10 years or so? Or is that even too far out?
Man, I just want to be doing it forever. I'm currently in the phase where I'm trying to get out of DFW and play more outside of that. So I'd like to be on a tour. I'd like to headline my own tour at some point. I don't know like how long it'll be till that happens. But yeah, I would definitely like to just go and travel and play anywhere that I can.
Yeah. Yeah. And make your living doing that.
Yes.
So travel doesn't bother you a lot either.
No, I love it. And my girlfriend loves traveling too. So she's an ER nurse, but she's like, I only want to do this for a little bit and then I want to go. Because she's just always traveling. She loves traveling. So I'm like, it's perfect. It's literally perfect.
Well, that's a good job to have too, to be able to stow a little nut and spend it on a vacation. And that's a good way to spend it. You got to live.
Yes, literally.
It's a different lifestyle too. It used to be what I always dreamt of doing. And then, you know, so many of my friends do that all the time. And when I see them at my age still doing it, I still admire them, but I also would not want to go to sleep on a cubby in a bus that many days a week. It would make me nuts. But it is a fascinating opportunity. I hope that you pick up some little things. I think it would be easier for you to jump onto a tour than you think.
Yeah, that's what I'm praying for. That's what I'm trying to make happen. And trying to figure that out because I haven't got to sleep on the buses yet, but I'm excited because it's an experience I've heard.
Yes, well, it can be when you take your people with you, so you know who you're bringing and you'll be good to go.
Oh yeah, it's good.
I know there's one person who's going,
and it's good because I can sleep so good in cars and planes. Like I can fall asleep before a plane takes off. Like cars like lull me to sleep, so I'm like, works out, checks out. Right?
Oh, that is perfect. So I did want to ask you about, since we're sticking on the music vibe too, and then you can talk about anything else that you have in progress too. But cool. What is your writing process? Because all musicians have a different process and they all think it's the one or whatever, but everybody has their individual process. What's yours?
Get frustrated and rage quit. No, I'm just kidding. But sometimes that is the process.
Yes.
It kind of depends though, because I've been like, I produce a little bit, like I get my ideas down on Logic. So like sometimes I'll start with the music part, you know, and the instrumental part. And that's kind of what has called me a lot. I was struggling writing lyrics for a long time because I had a writer's block, dude. It's hard. It's so hard because it's like, you're writing rhymey words. How do you make it not super cheesy? Like it is though. Like it kind of has to be.
And you were a poet when you started, and I was the same too. I could write lyrics if they're just lyrics. I could write a poem.
Yes.
But I come up with the music first and then try to match something to the vibe it gives me. It does become really a giant pain.
So it's crazy because I'll get like little lines sometimes and I'll like write them in my notes, and then sometimes like it'll just flood and it'll come to me. But most of the time the music comes easier and the writing is harder for me. So I kind of have to sit with my producer will come up with something and then he'll be like, okay, do you want me to leave? And I'm like, yeah, get out. And so like I sit with myself and I just listen a bunch. I try to like hear nothing at first and just see how the music sounds. And then I try to find melodies and then try to find words that go with the melodies. So it kind of depends on the day, but.
Yeah. So you do the hem-haw stuff over the track for a while and see if any of those melodic things sound right.
Yes. I hum it out. And then I've noticed that like physically writing instead of just like typing on my phone actually helps me a lot too. Sometimes I'll doodle and stuff too, just to like start moving my hand. I have to like get out the bad stuff first and then, clear it for the good stuff.
Well, that's stuff you can sell down the road too.
Yeah, exactly.
Save it,
exactly.
There's still going to be some places you can sell that online.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's kind of all different, but yeah.
So when your producer, is he engineering and producing, mastering, doing the whole shebang and helping write and everything? Or
so Brandon does the production and engineering and stuff, but then Bradley, our guy Bradley, he mixes and masters it. So yeah, that's
fantastic. Yes. So you kind of have a co-writer.
Yeah.
Does he get points and stuff too? Do you usually do that?
Oh yeah. No, I'm a rookie, so I'm not set up yet. All
what?
Yeah. It doesn't matter that I don't have any streams, so I'm not gonna get anything right now. Anyways,
do yourself a favor. It doesn't take a lot. Do me a favor, please.
Well, I had one, and then someone said the other one was better, so I was like, okay, gonna cancel it and go to the. But yeah, I've
just have one there.
I'm like, nobody. If you can take this part out. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're, you've got the big three, and then the one's kind of more specialized. But it's almost like anything else. It's like, hey, what's the best guitar? And then all of a sudden you run into your guitar hero and they're like, no, it's this. And you're like, oh, son of a gun.
Yeah.
It's always something else. Right. So ASCAP or BMI or whatever, you'll run into somebody that's whatever, but get your stuff in there.
Yeah.
Get your stuff in there because it's valuable stuff that you have out, especially you look at people in other cities that know who you are and are paying attention. I think that's going to be really important.
Thank you.
You don't want somebody.
This is my sign to get that done. That done like yesterday.
Yes. Please do. So what are you working on now? Anything you have brand new release that obviously we'll put some links and stuff for people that are interested to listen to your stuff.
Yeah.
What are you currently working on?
So Gravity just came out and now we're working on a new song called Paradise. And that's probably going to come out within the next month or two. It's my third time writing the bridge. So you know how it goes. We've tried 2 once and we're like, eh. And so literally before I came here, I went to the water gardens and just sat and just listened. And I like wrote before I came here.
Fantastic.
Yeah, which was really nice. Like sitting in the shade wasn't too bad, but.
And the water kind of gives you, it's humid anyway already. Yeah. So you may as well get fresh water running.
Oh yeah. No, something about being outside when writing and just by water or like any type of nature, like really helps me. So yeah, we got Paradise coming up. We're shooting the cover art for that on Monday. And then should be out in the next couple months, hopefully.
And are you doing videos for all of these or
We're
some of these?
We're doing promo videos, but we don't have the budget for music videos right now. We're kind of trying to put most of that into marketing and promotion just because putting stuff out and it's not getting heard. So we got to fix the problems and figure out.
It's changing. I think it's right. It used to be that you had to find a way to come up with all this money and then it became less expensive. Now everybody wants to see the 25 seconds worth of something instead of a video anyway.
She helps me with the TikTok stuff because I hate it. I suck at it. Like I'm getting better, but she helps me a lot for sure. This is Kelsey also. If you've seen like my videos, she makes most of them.
Really?
So yeah.
So maybe there's a dual purpose in her showing up today too. Because if you saw my post, you'd be like, you would feel like a master. You saw mine, you're like, wow, that's pretty random. Yeah, it's random.
It's all random. Everything is. No. But yeah, we're trying to figure out how to, do it in the most cost-effective way we can, which TikTok is a good tool for that because if you hit it, you can hit it really big. Just haven't figured out how to do that. So we're trying to figure out ads and different ways of marketing and all that good stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if there's anything I can ever do to help you,
Thank you.
I support what you're doing and appreciate the fact that you shared a lot of your guts here. And, because I know it takes guts to put all that stuff out there. So I say it and I joke a little bit, but it really does take guts to put yourself out there and be proud to just be who you are. So
thank you.
So I am proud to know you, and I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Seriously, thank you for even caring about what I do and listening to my stuff, because even just getting someone to listen is kind of tough sometimes. So thank you for even for even caring enough and having me here and like having a place for people to share themselves. It's really cool that you do that. So
well, thank you. That's all you. I wouldn't have had anybody else direct me unless I found you randomly. So
how did you? I feel like we know a bunch of people that are similar. Like
probably, we
know like everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the music industry for so many years, got out and then back in, and I'm just trying to do stuff like this to share important messages, whether it's through music or I mean, I'm a rookie at this too. Yeah. Obviously, I'm getting better. If you go back and look at the ones that are about a year and a half old, they're okay interviews, but pretty bad sets. But
hey, you got to have that base level. You got to.
I'm working on it.
All you can do is keep going.
And even musically, I have the same ideas I had when I was playing at North Texas or touring or whatever. Yeah. But your chops go away.
Yeah.
If you lay it down for a few years and then try to come back, my ideas are still there, but I can't play them yet. So I enjoy that process too.
Yeah.
Because it's
uncovering again.
Yeah. There's a lot of musicians that are still, want to show up 3 hours late and do all that mess. So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to learn how to play it myself.
Yeah.
And get it done that way. So
that's the best.
I have a great appreciation for all that stuff that you have to do, and the fact that you have people that you lead and everything else. I think that's really going to carry forward. So
thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
Yes,
I'm really excited. We got to do something too. Got to make something together.
What's it take? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Success or the same, but with second grade rules. A confident fake to make you do what they want when they won't pay the fool. A diplomatic face is the one to see you through. Don't let those bigots take you off your game, but just to let them loose. You sit here in the front